As we have mentioned, today is the 80th anniversary of D-Day, the epic military operation that helped the Allied forces turn the tide in World War II. President Joe Biden spoke at a ceremony in France this afternoon. Then he and the First Lady toured the American cemetery in Normandy.
The Bidens then made their way to Omaha Beach for another ceremony, joining alongside dignitaries from other countries and acknowledging the international coordination that drove Operation Overlord. 40 years ago, Artie Saul from the New England News Exchange visited that same beach.
Morning on the Normandy coast. This day damp and chilly. The waves roll and break as they have since time began. But let me take you back to another time, a day when the serenity was shattered. A day when this sand hid a terrible reality, its unbroken surface giving lie to the instruments of war. Mines planted by 18-year-olds, Germans, designed to kill other 18-year-olds, the flower of Allied youth. It was 40 years ago today, June 6th, the beach they called Bloody Omaha. Our story of the landing here is set during a break in the worst Channel storm in 20 years, and among the thousands of men and boys who were to triumph or die that day was Richard Sullivan of Dorchester.
As we each went onto the landing craft, a limey sailor gave each of us a can of beer, and we put it in our packs. And then, of course, they let us down into the water, off the davits.
Sullivan and his Rangers began boarding their landing craft, and as the Navy and Air Force began their barrage to soften up the heavily fortified beaches, the first battle for Sullivan's troops was against an enemy called seasickness.
You could see nothing but wave after wave of people being knocked down. We got across the beach in pretty good shape. Fire from the top of the cliffs on the landing craft was extremely bad. And as the men got off the boats and before they got in close under the hill, it was murderous out there at the water's edge.
This is how the story ended for more than 9,000 of them at the cemetery of Colville-sur-Mer. The crosses and Stars of David stand in silent testimony to the dreams of peace and freedom that they would never see fulfilled, but for which they paid so dearly. The monument here reads, "This embattled shore, portal of freedom, is forever hallowed by the ideals, the valor and sacrifice of our fellow countrymen." And they are not forgotten in the peace that's returned to Omaha Beach.